Welcome, everyone. Let us all stand and sing our opening song.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I'm just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Woo! How's everyone doing today? Awesome. Nice. All right. Well, I am Dave, and I am a spiritual practitioner and a ministerial student here at Genesis Center for Spiritual Living. Our online host today is Cal, and if you're watching on Facebook, you can always make a comment on there because I'm one of those guys who love back and look at all those comments, so bring them on. So right now, I'm going to invite us all just to take a moment and read our vision and mission statement together. Our mission: we are building a vibrant community, cultivating a garden of spiritual growth, honoring vulnerability, creating a safe place of comfort and peace where all are welcome and accepted. And our vision: Genesis is a bright beacon with an unshakable heart of love, accepting all. A home for the soul where we each creatively express our spiritual brilliance. I hope you see and experience that as you celebrate with us today. And now we're going to move on to our announcements. So we have name tags available at the welcome table because I cannot remember anyone's name unless they have a tag on. So if you want, you can. We do not have welcome tags. We do not have welcome tags available at the welcome table because I've been just giving this. Don't make that announcement. So okay, so I'll just have to remember the names. That's fine, you know. One day out of the week I can do this. All right. We're still looking for greeters at the door, a part of our volunteer team. So if you're interested in volunteering in any aspect of Genesis, please see Cynthia at the welcome table. And we just wanted to say that we're grateful. We have received a generous stock donation, and I just want to give a round of applause for that, because that is always applause abundance. And we've now made it very easier to give online. So if you feel inspired or know someone you might know, we have a genesis.csl.org. Donate here to support the continued growth of our conversation. Just making it easy for everyone. The men's group is meeting tomorrow, hosted and facilitated by me. So if you're interested in joining and being a part of a men's group, we go and we discuss political views, we discuss spiritual views, we discuss what's going on with ourselves. It's a great supportive place to just come and connect with other men of the community. So if that sounds like something of interest to you, just come and see me about that. Our Genesis visioning, we've done 2 Genesis visionings so far, and they've been a very fantastic success. Visioning is a great way of being receptive and open to what God and Spirit's highest idea has for us as a collective and individuals. And if you're interested in being a part of that process, come see me about that too. It's a fantastic way, not just to see how Spirit works in your life, but also to come and connect with the community. There's a practitioner meeting today after service, so there's not going to be any book study. Most of the time we do have a book study. Edwin Gaines' 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity. So if you come another Sunday, come join the book study. It's always a fantastic group and a fantastic discussion. And the last announcement, I will say it, Jim, back in the back there, is offering to fix fans. He says he will be able to clean, so if you have an old fan in your place that you just kind of want like brought back, not brought back to life, because I'm being told that he can't bring fans back from the dead, but he will clean them and dust them, yeah. And he will make them work for you again, and he's volunteered to offer that. So thank you, Jim, for that.
It's free. I enjoy doing it. Just a little clarification, if you have 2 fans that are both working half-ass, I can Franken-fan something for you. Sparks, the other one will work, so I can partially bring things back to life, but if it's been buried, leave it in the ground. Thank you.
So, for first-time guests, I'm so glad to be here with you all this morning. If this is your first time, we'd love to connect with you. We know that everyone prefers a different method of communication, so we have connection cards available. We don't have connection cards. Okay. Is anybody here for the first time today? Let me just say that. I just wanted to. I just thought that. I just wanted to bless, and we'll just go through. Just if you want to just say, do you want to say your name, just really quick? Hi, Stephanie. Brian. Hi, Brian. And then Stephanie. And Brian. If we could keep this going, this is going to make it a lot easier without the name tags. If this, no, go ahead. Todd. Hi. And Doreen. And Rose. Well, welcome everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us in service today. I really appreciate that. So what we do right now is we have a chance that we love, now that we've met you, we all get a chance to love, to get up and meet and greet everyone. So we'll stand up and if you don't prefer, we are a hugging community. So if you don't like hugging, we do namastes, we do handshakes. Everyone knows that if you just stick your hand out like this, it's a way to meet and greet everyone. So let's all get up, meet, greet, say hi. So they always say it takes a village to bring a community together, and so I just wanted to give a moment and just thank those who are volunteers in service today. Our morning greeter is Cynthia. You met her this morning. On the projector and video, we have the Mike and Eric duo back there. Our offering connection is Gideon. Our sound tech today is Jim. Online host today is Cal up front, and the service practitioner is me. If you need any prayer support, anything that's going on in your lives, or you just want more of what's good happening in your life, just come see me after the service. I love to hold that consciousness and that intention for you. Our musical guest today is ChristineEss. And now we are going to be very blessed by letting ChristineEss do our centering song, Breathe and Turn Within. Today's reading was sent to me by a friend. It's a little bit longer than some of the readings that I have done in the past. And it goes deep. It's a little more personal to me. So what I'm going to invite you to do today is, instead of doing what I normally do, is I'll get up and I'll do a reading and then I'll do kind of a prayer, because that's kind of the normal traditional way that we get up and we do these things. And so what I'm going to invite you to do is just listen to these words. Listen to how they come about us and how they touch your heart as they touched my heart. And this will be the prayer that we will do today. It will be both words and prayer. And so what I'm going to invite you to do is that you can keep your eyes open as I'm doing this reading, or you can look within and close your eyes, whatever's comfortable for you. It's all fine. You could never tell what people are thinking about when you see them in ordinary life. You think they're probably pretty far from what you are, and you like to think your own exalted thoughts, which you find aren't so exalted when you come to analyze them and wonder how you got that way yourself. But it gave me a really interesting slant on the absolutism of relativity. Because if there is an absolutism beyond relativity, which there is, we don't know it yet. And even that which we postulate as absolutism is reached through relativity. And if the reaching out isn't the thing, and if it isn't the thing that is reached after, and if our hand touched it, we wouldn't recognize it. It would look unfamiliar, and we would throw it in the river. We wouldn't understand it. Reading that this morning hit something deep in me. Something unsteady, something I hadn't quite figured out. I sat with my coffee, the early morning light stretching across the porch, cicadas rising in chorus, and I read it again. Slowly, because what he's saying, it undoes me. I look at people every day. I mean, really look. In airports, in line at the grocery store, even in people I love, and I forget that they carry inner worlds I'll never enter. I project. I assume I know. Sometimes I even assume I'm thinking deeper thoughts than they are, or imagine my path is somehow more refined. It's not out of arrogance, it's out of old habits, maybe a subtle way of separating myself, maybe a defense, maybe a longing to feel special, safe, different, protected. And then he catches me with that quiet observation. You like to think your own exalted thoughts, which you find aren't so exalted when you come to analyze them. And just like that, I see the scaffolding of my spiritual identity wobble and collapse, because the truth is, I have been examining my thoughts lately, all of them, peeling them back like old wallpaper. The parts of me that want to fix people, the parts of me that want to change others, to heal faster so I don't have to feel so much. The parts of me that get frustrated when people won't change because they're stuck in their patterns, when they won't see what seems so obvious to me. But then I see myself and I realize I'm not exempt from any of this. My exalted thoughts are just as full of fear, control, and need as anyone else's. And I wonder, how did I get here? How did I come to believe what I believe? Whose voice is it I'm actually following when I speak of truth? What struck me most was this idea of absolutism of relativity. It poked something in me. Because I realized I'd been reaching for clarity, reaching for peace, reaching for a way to love people without needing them to be different, reaching for a sense of ground in the middle of letting go of everything I thought was holding me together. But what if even this reaching is relative? What if the act of searching, seeking, yearning, even that is a mental construct, a movement of the mind trying to grasp something the soul already knows? What if the real absolute, what if what I long for with every breath is not something I can arrive at through striving? What if it's already here, but it looks nothing like what I've imagined? What if it doesn't feel safe or clean or sweet or even spiritual? What if it's messy and wild and disorienting? What if it walks into my life sideways, disguised as something I don't want to deal with, like a failing relationship, my mother's decline, or the story of the life I've outgrown, or the raw ache of needing nothing and no one to be different? And our hand touched it. Would we even recognize it? This line just is squarely in my chest because I know that experience. I've thrown truth into the river before. I've rejected insight because it was inconvenient. I've walked away from the unfamiliar, the too honest, the disruptive, the deeply loving but non-traditional, because it didn't look like the version of holiness that I expected. But now I'm realizing maybe this moment right here, this is what I'm in, where everything feels open and uncertain and uncomfortable and strange, is the absolute. Not the tidy idea of it, not the sermon about it, but this body I'm learning to trust again, this breath that still comes, even when I'm afraid, this new hunger to live from presence, not performance, this quite painful release from needing things to be other than they are. Maybe that's what he was talking about. That what we call the absolute will likely not flatter my ego, match my theology, or show up on time. It will arrive as a stranger. It will ask me to let go. It might look like loss. It might feel like a door closing. It might not even be recognizable as God or love or truth until much, much later, if at all. So this morning, I'm not trying to understand. I'm trying to stay open. I'm trying to soften up to recognize what I don't recognize. I'm trying to live without needing to be certain, to love without needing to hold, to let the absolute find me in its own way. And if it feels unfamiliar and I want to throw it in the river, maybe I'll pause first. I'll listen and I'll ask, what if this too is sacred? So it is. So with that, I want to introduce the beautiful talent of ChristineEss Young.
Distress just isn't something new. We hear there's nothing we can do. So many are starving, sick, or dying. Where's the point in even trying? I tell you, I believe we can all have all we need if we just open up and pray. Take a new step every day. Find the courage to stand my ground. Find the courage to not back down. Walk in faith, make the leap. The tide is high and talk is cheap. And I will stand my ground and hold that peace is found. Forgive the fighting, the wrong made righting. Just spread the love around. I look around and often see how we treat each other harshly. And I know I'm no exception, so I try to learn my lesson. I hold myself responsible for all I see and all I know. Practice love, acceptance I've found brings me round to stand my ground. Find the courage to stand my ground. Find the courage to not back down. Walk in faith, make the leap. The tide is high and talk is cheap. And I will stand my ground and hold that peace is found. Forgive the fighting, the wrong made righting. Just spread the love around. Some fight for rights, some fight for peace. I stand in love, forgive, release. I see a different way, and I will stand my ground. I know it can be done. We can live in this world as one. So I will be love and peace, and be the change I wish to see. Yeah, it is done as we believe. So I will live with grace and ease. I stand my ground in the love I found and hold the possibility. Yeah, and I will stand my ground and I will not back down. Walk in faith, make the leap. The tide is high and talk is cheap. And I will stand
Oh, so great to see everybody here. This weekend, I came back, I spent time with my friends who live on a farm. And one of the things, actually, it's hardly related to a farm, but my grandchildren were there, and Josiah had this exclamation. Whenever he was walking on gravel, there was lots of gravel. Every time he'd hit the gravel, he'd say, "My feet are getting stronger." Because I taught him that when your feet get poked by hard gravel, the skin like keratinizes a little bit, which means it takes a little bit of fingernail, and when it regrows the skin, it regrows it with a little more fingernail in it. And that's how cats get paws and dogs get paws, and Josiah is developing paws. And it's just fun. Whenever I can tell that's his affirmation for whenever it hurts. He's like, "My feet are strong, my feet are strong, my feet are getting stronger." And he can go through, he inspires me. Whenever the gravel is like a little too pokey, I'm like, my feet are strong too. So we're going to talk about boundaries, and let's repeat this. I create and maintain generative boundaries that nurture myself and those around me. One more time. I create and maintain generative boundaries that nurture myself and those around me. And because I was on a farm, I'm going to start by talking about Groot. So Groot is somebody, some of you who are familiar with Marvel Cinematic Universe, Groot is a person in a tree body who has super strength, comes from the planet X, and can regenerate. When he was destroyed in one movie, he came back as baby Groot and started off as a twig and then grew bigger and bigger. This is a different Groot we're going to talk about. It's Simon Groot. It made it really easy for me to remember his name, though. He's also involved in plant life. Simon Groot recently died just a couple weeks ago at age 91, and he is a winner of the World Food Prize, which is considered the Nobel Prize for food production. He won it in 1991 for his work. So he grew up, when he was born, he was the 6th generation of a family business that sold seeds. They started off hundreds of years ago selling cabbage seeds, but by the time he was in the business, they were selling flower seeds. And as part of the new generation for this family business, he was the head of marketing, and he got to fly around the world to find out what kind of flower seeds he wanted to sell to people. And what he noticed when he was especially in equatorial third world countries is the farmers weren't doing very well. They were trying to grow things on the soil, and the plants weren't growing very much. The soil wasn't really adequate for them. The plants were failing. They were getting mold and mildew. And he was like, my son actually he had a pea patch when he lived in Honolulu. And I would think that because it's warm all the time, they'd have plants growing all the time. And he said, but they get moldy, they get mildewed, and there's so many bugs because there's no season to kill them off. He says the needs of plants in tropical times are completely different than they are. We may not enjoy the cold of the winter, but the bugs enjoy them even less. And so it gets us a fresh start. So he partnered with a Philippine, Mr. Dominguez, Benito Domingo, and they came up with an experimental land plot in the Philippines where they found plants that would grow really well in the tropics. The first one, they came up with jade star, which is a kind of bitter melon. And it turns out these throve everywhere you planted them. They were like weeds. I mean, it was like blackberries, except without the thorns. They grew so much. And so suddenly there was more food. The farmers were doing better. They were making more money. And everyone wanted to buy the seeds from him. And he noticed, Monsanto was also trying to solve the farmer productivity crisis. But they did it in a way with their genetically modified seeds. It did make it so you didn't have to use as much pesticide, but the farmers had to give a lot of their extra profit back to the company. And because you weren't allowed to reuse the seeds that you grew on your own land, it stifled any kind of farming innovation. And so this is sort of what he was looking against. He's like, people are trying to help, but not in this really controlling way. You know, this was boundaries. The boundaries Monsanto was creating did not nurture the people around them. It nurtured their shareholders. And I shouldn't exaggerate. I mean, it's funny, the work they did with Roundup was truly horrible, because Roundup's a product they sell, and they made plants that were resistant to Roundup. So you plant your crops, and then you could spray your whole field with Roundup and kill all the plants you didn't like. But the problem is, Roundup can be handy in particular situations, judiciously applied. But it led to it being really abused and too much Roundup in all the farm country. So Groot came up with, it turns out, hundreds of new species. They have 600 seeds they sell, and they do agronomy. They teach farmers how to do better, how to grow their crops better. When they have problems, they can go to the company is called East-West Seed Company. And what happened was Groot sold his old family business. Monsanto wanted to buy it, but he wouldn't sell it to them. But he sold it to somebody else, and it's still going, and they're having wonderful flower seeds. And in the meantime, East-West Seed Company is being run by 3 of Groot's 4 children. Baby Groots, anyway, whatever they are. And they're in 80 countries selling 600 kinds of seeds. And so this is why he won the Food Nobel Prize, is because he really he empowered farmers to be more productive. And that empowered the consumers, because you have local food you can buy, and you can buy it for cheaper because it's not as scarce. You can get it fresher. You can grow, you know, your bitter melons in any little patch you have near your house. So I looked at some of the other people who've won Nobel Prizes for food, the World Food Award, which, by the way, is in Iowa. Who would have thought such a thing would come from Iowa? But it was this guy who made his money in real estate and trucking, and decided that living in farm country, he wanted to do something to give back, and so he thought he would award a prize to people who innovated. And they do it every year. The most recent one was won by Maria Hungria, a scientist in Brazil. And hers is she found this microbe that will it enriches the soil. It takes nitrogen from the air, and it sticks it in the soil in a really bioavailable manner. And so this decreases the need. You basically don't need petrochemical fertilizer anymore. And so this makes farming much more, it makes your soil richer, it decreases your expense, and it makes farmers better for climate change. They aren't contributing pollution to climate change. They're in fact, pulling in carbon from the atmosphere and making it so we can use it properly. So she is the latest scientist. There were too many others. I'd spend the whole sermon talking about them, but I had to stop somewhere. But I couldn't do it without I love the idea of inoculating the soil with microbes so it's richer, better soil. Let's go to the picture. There, this is a good one. So I've been talking about whole brain living, and just as a brief reminder and introduction, Jill Bolte Taylor is a neuroscientist, a brain scientist, and a long time ago, she on a fateful day, she had a stroke. And she was really excited to be having a stroke because she's like, oh my God, this is a stroke. I'm a brain scientist, and now I can actually see what happens when you have a stroke, and I can watch the parts of my brain shut down. You can tell there are different parts of us. This is the part of our brain that's very excited about things, that loves to do things. She loves brain science, so you could see this. The other parts of her brain were not necessarily so happy to see her brain shutting down. But someone liked it. She ended up, because she was a brain scientist and she knew it was happening, she knew she had to get to the phone fast because she dialed all the phone numbers for her office because she knew that they were all brain scientists, so they'd recognize she was having a stroke. And it was good she started when she did, because after she pressed the last number, she didn't know what numbers were anymore. And when she started talking to the person, her language center was already offline, so she could just say, ah! But the person, they had caller ID, so they knew who was calling, plus they recognized her voice, and they knew that she couldn't talk, so they said, oh, she must be having a stroke. So they called the hospital and told them she's having a stroke, and this is what you have to do, and sent the ambulance there. It still took her 8 years to recover, but it was a labor of love because she learned so much, and she really wanted to be able to share that information with others, because she said, you know, this is just amazing, what I've learned about the brain from having this stroke. So the part of us that we recognize ourselves as, sort of the narrator of our story, is a peanut-sized section of the brain, like right probably an inch from where I'm pointing. And this is our storyteller. Oops. The storyteller is the part of us that does language, does math, creates civilizations, invents cars, probably invents new kinds of seeds. But this is the part that organizes the world and organizes our lives. And it's the voice that we usually hear in our head. And the organizer can be really helpful to us in doing all those things, but it can get sort of stuck on an idea and decide you're going to do this, you're going to do this. Sort of like when my wife wanted my son to be an architect and I wanted him to be a lawyer, but he didn't want to do any of those things. And we had to let go because it was his life. Sometimes our narrator comes up with a story for us that doesn't let our explorer, our fun part, have fun. Doesn't let us have joy in our life. It just wants to do what it wants to do. This part is the protector. This is when babies are born, the first part of our brain that becomes active at birth is the part that wants to keep us safe. So it recognizes, we're 3D beings living in this body, and we want to keep it safe. And so the baby's born, and it immediately cries, and everyone's happy except the baby, who's like, no, I like the womb. It was warm. I could hear my mom's heart. This is a little scary out here. But we see that, and then the last piece, we've got Buddha there, Swami there, is the thinking part of our creative brain. So our creative brain is the part that sees the world as one, that sees the world as full of love, and recognizes our oneness with all the universe. When you're playing sports and you're in a flow state where you're just doing the sport. I got this with skiing before. I still had knees that could ski. But other sports, when I run, when I hike, when I bicycle, there are lots of situations where we get into a flow state where we're living outside of time and space. And then so when we're talking about boundaries with each other, it really starts, it's sort of an as within, so without kind of situation, where if we don't respect our own internal boundaries, how can we respect other people's boundaries? So that's why we spend, in Center for Spiritual Living, we spend a lot of time talking to our planner, to our doer, to let our doer know to look out for the other parts of the brain, for this part. Suddenly when you see somebody, when you see yourself being really reactive, being triggered, being angry out of all reason, this is your protector, this is your defender that wants to. Let's go to the next picture. There it is, fight, freeze, fawn, flight. These are the tools it have, and it's very primitive tools because it doesn't really see the need to be sophisticated. It just wants to keep you safe. And because it controls the amygdala has power to take control of your brain and your whole body. So this part of us that can make us do really embarrassing things, like have a meltdown in the middle of a supermarket, or get angry, start honking at people in traffic just because we don't like the way somebody else is driving on the road. This is what we learn to do is to notice what each of our parts is good at and to give them the opportunity to shine. So when we do get angry all of a sudden, instead of necessarily melting down right away, we can sort of welcome the anger, welcome the emotions, and say, what's going on here? What can we do to fix this? Is there a more effective way to fix this than melting down? Ernest Holmes said, I do not think we should make such a claim to divinity that we forget we're human, for our humanity proclaims the creativity of the divine. Human we are, doing the best we can and ever seeking a fuller realization of our source. Our experience is filled with laughter and tears, singing, dancing, praying, and exalting, and sometimes falling into the depths of despair. We need to have a good-natured flexibility towards all we encounter, not fighting against life, but cooperating with it. We need to have a good-natured flexibility towards all we encounter, not fighting with life, but cooperating with it. And also he said, to assert our individuality is to rise above the law of averages into that more highly specialized use of the law. So we've got, our explore. So being on the farm with the grandkids, I got to see that a lot. They have a big part of them is into this fight, flees, fawn, fright, kind of activity. But when you see it in the kids, it helps because I can recognize it in myself, and then that helps me deal with it. When somebody has one of these reactions, with my first wife had this a lot. She worked in theater where people are very dramatic, and she would come home with a story about the drama queen and about how they were ruining her life because they didn't like what she did and they were wanted her to redo it. And so my first reaction is my planner wanted to say, well, this is the way theater people are, and sometimes, maybe you can negotiate with them, or maybe you can do this, or maybe, nuh-uh. This guy was having none of it. I finally learned that the best response is to start to rant and rave with her about the unfairness of it all, and how could these people do things like this? And it was okay, because we weren't in front of those other drama queens. We were our own drama queens, having a meltdown right there. So that was one way we could deal with it. The other thing, the planner sometimes doesn't know. This was a situation with my son where, my wife thought he'd be a great architect, probably because she always wanted to be an architect, and we all loved looking at beautiful buildings. And I thought he'd be a lawyer because lawyers make lots of money, and that's a good thing, isn't it? But we didn't look at what he was interested in. And this is the part of us, that lives outside of space and time, that does what we're fascinated with. I talked about sports. It's also our artistry, arts. When I see Christy making quilts or painting or, whatever kind of art she's engaged in, she'll disappear into her studio and she'll come out I'll go hours later and she's like, what? Is it that late? She really is existing outside of space and time. And this is our passion we find in life. We talk about how, life has poetry and calculation, and without calculation you'll starve, but without poetry, what's the point of living? So this is our part of life for living. And sometimes these guys can sort of overstep their boundaries. So when I first learned computer programming, I was this guy. I didn't want to do anything else but eat, sleep, and computer program, and really not much eating and sleeping. I just wanted to do the programming. I could create my own little world and make really elaborate programs. But it affected, I'd fall asleep in class. I needed to sleep. I needed to eat. So my explorer had to negotiate with my planner to figure out how that was going to work. And the connector, sort of the Buddha mind part of me, as I learned to meditate, it was really fun to meditate for hours every day. And I was very peaceful. My wife would actually comment when I came back from, meditation retreats, how calm and peaceful I was, until I wasn't anymore. Usually it would be my protector would have I'd have a temper tantrum. But it was, life isn't just about meditating and being peaceful. Life is also about interacting with people and helping people and producing things. So when we find people trying to control us, it's nice to look at them. Oh, I should say that these parts of our brain are all operating simultaneously. So we are all of these at once all the time. And it's just the parts of the brain try to take control. And sometimes, whether they can or can't take control inside themselves, they'll try to take control of other people. I know it's hard. One of my daughters, it's hard to drive with because she doesn't like how I park. And she always wants me to park my car differently. And I've tried, but I can't ever do it. Doesn't matter how many times I try. I'll never succeed. So I just have to walk away, and actually what happens is she drives when we're around. That's the real solution. So I want to, let's picture yourself as though you were a leaf. And let's say we're all leaves growing on this new tree, and it's a maple tree. And so we all want to be that particular pointy shape. We look a little like the Canadian flag. Except the other leaves are saying, no, don't be that color. We all want to be the same color. Let's be uniform. We don't want people to think it's a weird-looking tree. So let's all be green. And so all the leaves you turn green like all the other leaves. And it's okay, it's sunny, it's hot, there's rain, we're all thriving. And then you notice, as things hang on, the other leaves that were telling you to stay green and be in conform are like dropping off. And you're like, I don't know how long it is till I'm going to be dropping off. Why don't I stop trying to be like these guys told me to be? Why don't I be what I want to be? And by that time in your life, you sort of know what you want to be. So you can drop the green and turn your true colors. And then you can stay on the tree as long as you like, or you can flutter to the ground, but you've got to express your true colors. And I think that's what we get to do in life. We get to, our true colors is a combination of our oneness and our individuality, of our staying safe and our contributing to the whole. And everybody wants to do this. And we can, Groot, It's Dr. Simon Group, by the way, is the one who recently died and founded East West Seeds. You know, he knew he was following the path his family had planned for him, going into the flower seed business, and they were very successful. The company is still very successful. They made a lot of money when they sold it. But what his heart sang for, his passion, was for helping third world farmers become more productive. It broke his heart to see people who were being unproductive, but he didn't want to go in and say, I can solve your problem if you give me all your money and you farm exactly the way I tell you to. Instead, he said, you know, here are some seeds. This crop will grow, and you can, if you like it, you can sell it to your neighbors. See how much you'll thrive. And it's not very much, and you can grow your own seeds again after the season, or you can keep buying them from us. But we're going to keep developing new seeds and new plants, so you are all empowered. And you know, this is the kind of thing that wins you the World Food Award. And this is the way I think we all are. You know, we all recognize we have a genius. You know, we feel unification with the other members of our church, with the other members of our community, with the other members of the world. And we want to contribute, you know, in the way that we are best made to contribute, best enjoy contributing, you know, which is our own individual way, which may not be what we learned in school, or maybe it was exactly what you learned in school. But it's nice, and it's nice to know, you know, when we see people failing to fit in, when we see people trying to control us, when we see people having inappropriate temper tantrums or running away of something that isn't real or isn't really a menace, we can have sympathy, we can have compassion for them, because we know, you know, we have that part of us that will sometimes blow up inappropriately or run away at the wrong time. We have that part of us that wants to tell everybody what to do, because we think we know. We have that part of us that just wants to have fun and never mind getting the work done. And we have that part of us that just enjoys meditating. And why don't we just do this for a few weeks? That will be. I used to scare my first wife. One of our friends would go on months-long meditation retreats. And whenever he would talk about them, I'd be like, ah. And she was like, no, I know that one day you're gonna run away and I won't see you for months. And you'll come back so relaxed and free, you won't want to be married to me. I'm like, what makes you think that? He said, I can see it in your face. Well, maybe part of me wants to do that. But the rest of us, but that isn't in control. There are other parts of me that get a voice too. And this is how we work in community, and this is how we maintain our boundaries. So let's go back to the boundary affirmation. So let's say it together 3 times. I create and maintain generative boundaries that nurture myself and those around me. I create and maintain generative boundaries that nurture myself and those around me. I create and maintain generative boundaries that nurture myself and those around me. So thanks for that. And I think this will help us engage in community. I want to talk about a couple of things before we get to write. First off, there are, many of you know, but there's a new development. It's car wash tickets, and we have a bunch of car wash tickets that have been donated to the church. So it costs $12 for a car wash at Brown Bear Car Wash, and 100% of the funds go to the church. They're available either through me or at the welcome table. In case you guys, I know I used to think, who cares if the car is dirty? But when I actually clean my car, I'm like, wow, my car is clean and shiny. And it just gives a little lift to my day. And it's nice to know, you know, that the money goes to a good cause. We have prayer cards that should be near you, on a seat near you or under you. And the side I want to recommend you fill out first is the demonstration side. And this is the part where, like my nephew Josiah, you say, you know, my feet are strong. It's basically when you write down something that you decided would be true that became true, either through prayer or through hard work, anywhere where you manifested something in the world. Your manifestation is your demonstration. And by writing that down, that makes your prayers more powerful. And the prayer can be a prayer for you, for the world, a prayer of celebration, a prayer of need. The prayers go to our practitioner core who pray over it all week, so the prayers really get powered in time and space, outside of time and space, so they have more power to manifest in your lives and in the world. Music from ChristineEss.
Afraid of the spotlight, afraid to climb too high, afraid to fall too far, afraid to even try. Told to stick grounded, told to stay where you're secure. Afraid of what others think if you admit you long for more. You are a child of a God. Playing small does not serve the world. As you shine your light, you lead the way for others to come out and play. You are brilliant, your light is beautiful. You are a blessing to the world. You are brilliant, your light is beautiful. You are a blessing to me. Let me know the real you. Let me know all of you. Your hurts, your shame, your joys, your say, your heart, your wins, your kind of play. Give yourself wholly, holy. The source of so much pain is frightened about shrinking, so others in your presence won't feel insecure as we cut the bonds of our own fear. We create a space for others to hear. You're brilliant, your light is beautiful. You are a blessing to the world. You're brilliant, your light is beautiful. You are a blessing to me. You are a blessing to me. You're brilliant, your light is beautiful. You are a blessing to the world. You're brilliant, your light is beautiful. You are a blessing, you are a blessing to me. You are so beautiful, and your light is such a beacon of joy. You're brilliant, your light is beautiful. You are a blessing to me.
We're all blessings, and ChristineEss, you are definitely a blessing to us. Thank you so much for that. So now is our time for our law of circulation, our offering time. Genesis is a community dedicated to love, inspiring harmony, and creating connections to empower spiritual growth. And we love you are here to share in that with us. This is an invitation to participate in circulation, to connect with abundance and generosity, and your support makes this all possible, and we truly appreciate your support. So let us take a moment to craft our financial gift. If you're on Facebook, you can visit our website at genesiscsl.org, or you can text your tithe to 206-800-7595. So let's hold our prayer requests and offering next to our heart. We say our offering blessing together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am thankful. And now, Gideon will come around and collect our offering as we sing our offering blessing song, Stepping into the Flow.
Stepping in, stepping into the flow, giving and receiving blessings that I know
hearts that we receive these gifts, knowing that fruits comes forth to do powerful works. We bless the givers, knowing that as we give, we receive tenfold. In deep gratitude, we give thanks for it all. And so it is. So thank you all for joining us today. I invite you to join us for food and fellowship. We get to know each other on a more personal level. And if you need prayer, I'll be right over there, right to the alcove. So let's stand up and sing our closing song together.